Cool. So, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with cars, all right? We're gonna do this in a tall kneeling position. One of the positions we'll do in a quadruped. You know what, actually, let's do it all in a quadruped position for the starting portion of it. So what I'm gonna have you do is, you're going to have your hands right underneath your shoulders here. And if you have bad wrists and like you have a pain on your wrist when you're in the quadruped position, go ahead and put yourselves on your knuckles. Knees right underneath your hips. Now, the way I create tension here is I like to pretend like I'm pulling my arms, I'm pulling the earth into my knees, and I'm pulling my knees into my arms. So that's already gonna create some tension there. So that you should feel some nice core tension, some lower and upper body tension. From there, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, after I take a nice breath in and pack that air, I'm gonna tuck my chin to my chest. Now, I'm gonna keep that chin nice and tight to my chest as I scrape all the way up my right collarbone until I can't turn any further. Now, in that position, what I want you to do is I want you to bend that ear over that shoulder, pull that neck up as high as you can, hit that outside muscle there as you rotate an extension to that left side. I want you to think 1 mile per hour here. Scrape back down. When we do this, and now when you get to the start point, I want you to continue scraping across that right side. Each time I want you to try to increase that range, bend that ear over that right shoulder, in extension, rotate to that left side. Keep rotating, guys. Now I want you to think tension here. The body, check in, make sure you're pulling your arms into your knees, knees into your arms, about 30 to 50% of tension. Still thinking 1%, sorry, not 1%, 1 mile per hour, whatever that is to you. And I'd like to think even slower usually, because sometimes we're too fast there. About 10 more seconds in that same direction, and then we're gonna rotate back the other way for 5, 4, don't speed up or slow down, 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to rotate back the other way. Start from wherever you're at. We're still going that. I came on my left shoulder and bending my ear over my left shoulder. Just to remind you, you're really trying to paint that outside circle. You're trying to, basically what I think is, I try to think there's a marker on the bottom of my chin, or on my chin in general, and I'm trying to paint the largest circle possible with my chin. But I'm also making sure that no other part of my body comes along for the ride. No shoulders, still keeping my lower body tension, my upper body tension. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, relax. We're gonna stay in the same position. We haven't done this one in a while. We're gonna do segmental cat-cow. So a lot of times you'll see in like yoga classes or big classes, most of the time they'll do like a global, the cat-cow position, what have you, right? So what I want you to do, we're gonna start in full extension, and I'm gonna pull my head to my tailbone. In this position, I'm still, after I take a breath in, I'm pulling the earth in still, trying to pull my hands into my knees, pulling my knees into my hands. Now, keeping that squeeze, what I'm gonna do is, since I'm in anterior pelvic tilt, or I'm tilted forward, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck underneath, and I'm gonna start at the bottom of my tailbone. Then I'm gonna work my way up to my low lumbar, mid lumbar, upper lumbar. Then you're gonna go to low thoracic, mid thoracic, high thoracic, coming to cervical. And now that I'm at cervical, I'm not just gonna stay here. I'm trying to drive the earth forward with my hands, and I'm trying to push it back with my knees. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Keep that squeeze as you take your tailbone and you start to tip forward. Low lumbar, mid lumbar, high lumbar, low thoracic, mid thoracic, high thoracic, cervical. Squeeze tailbone to head, pull the earth into yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, start to tuck underneath again. The reason for all of this right now is we're priming and we're warming up our body. We won't be doing any spine work today, so really kind of focus and feel what's going on with your body today. Full cat. Now, one last time, into extension, start to tip the tailbone, mid, upper lumbar, low thoracic, mid thoracic, upper thoracic or upper back, cervical, and squeeze. All right, nice. Now, we're gonna come out of that position Actually, we're gonna stay there for one last time, sorry. Now we're gonna take the shoulder, the glenohumeral joint, the ball and socket joint, still stay in this position. Now I want you to take your right arm and you're gonna externally rotate that right arm, right? So I'm trying to wring out that towel. I already start to feel some stuff here in this position. Now, I'm gonna take that into overhead flexion. I'm gonna bring my bicep right by my ear as close as I can. Now I can't go any further. What I want you to do is I want you to pretend there's an X on your bicep, and I want you to start to internally rotate that X away from you and reaching for the ceiling. But pretend like there's a glass on your shoulder blades and you're trying not to spill that water. Continue to rotate until your knuckles are at your side for half a rep. Now we're just gonna extend directly to the ceiling, and I'm gonna start to externally rotate and unravel, reaching for that ceiling the whole time. Nice. Second time around, trying to increase that range, making sure that torso doesn't come along for the ride. Really making sure that all the rest of the body is a statue as you internally rotate and reach back behind you. Knuckles at your side. Extend up. Externally rotate. And really focus on this upper body stuff, because we're not going to be doing any upper body work today. So use this as a focus to train your upper body for this position. Internally rotate and reach for that ceiling. About 10 more seconds. Don't speed up or slow down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch over to the other arm. I'll switch to the other side so you can see me. All right, nice big breath of air in. Pull the hands into the knees into the hands. Externally rotate this left arm as you take it into overhead flexion. Now I'm reaching for the ceiling as you really internally rotate with your bicep. Don't let your forearm and your wrist cheat you. Make sure that effort, you're trying to wring out the towel in your shoulder. Continue to rotate until your knuckles are at your side. You might hear some snap, crackles, and pops, some Rice Krispie treats. I'm totally okay with that. That's normal. Just none of that pain we were talking about at the beginning. Boom. Nice and easy, 1 mile per hour. Still keeping that 30% nice tension in the upper body, lower body. Really trying to be a statue as you focus on this left shoulder. I'm at my side here, extending up, externally rotate. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're gonna come out of that position. What I want you to do for scapula is we are going to take our hands directly in front of us here, and you're going to go out about 30 degrees. Now, I want you to pretend like our fists are on a nice like tray or a shelf here, right? So I don't want your hands to go up or down, okay? Your hands, your feet, you should only see your hands moving forward and backward. Everything else should come from your shoulder blades. So another thing is, like, I'm gonna cue this kind of robotic, but I don't necessarily want you to be robotic. So I want you to think, big breath of air in, pack that air, irradiate, squeeze the rest of your body. Now, lift those shoulder blades up to your ears. I want you to retract and squeeze them in your spine. Now with that squeeze, pull them away from your ears, punch them out forward or protract. At your end range there, elevate to your ears, squeeze that credit card in your spine. Now depress while there's squeeze and retraction. Protract out, up, back, down. Really try not to let your neck punch forward. Try not to let your torso come along for the ride. Only your scapulas. And we're gonna go back in the other direction. Down, back, up, out, down, back. Trying to paint the largest circle you can with your scapulas back there behind you. Really trying to make it a nice smooth circle gliding across your ribs. You might feel some scar tissue in there as well. That's normal. One last time. 3, 2, 1. Whew. Shake it out. Now we're gonna do a little rotational spine. We did the segmental cat-cow. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the rest of the spine, which is, if you have a block or a pillow, go ahead and put that in between your knees, and I want you to squeeze that for tension, for the lower body tension. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna go across your shoulders, but when we go to pull ourselves when I'm squeezing this block and I squeeze my butt, when I pull myself forward, try not to let your shoulder, your scapulas protract forward. We just did scapulas, so I want you to think squeezing those scapulas back, and now as you do that, start to flex forward, and you'll notice like you're at your end range as soon as you start to push back with this low back here, okay? So as soon as you start to feel your hips and you lose your butt squeeze, you are out of your end range. Now in that position, we're gonna rotate to our right. You're not gonna let these ASIS joints come along for the ride. Get to your end range. Now bend, side bend. Now I want you to think piece by piece, coming back into extension without losing your butt squeeze and without pushing your ASIS joints forward. Rotate to that left side, bend, forward flex, cut back across with your right elbow, rotate and try to increase that range, bend, think vertebrae by vertebrae, piece by piece into extension, rotating in extension to that left side, forward flexing, one more time, rotate, bend, piece by piece into extension, rotating to that left side, bending to that left side, and back forward. Let's go back that other way. I'll face forward, boom, to the left, wring out that towel that is your spine or your torso, bend, piece by piece in extension, rotating to the right side, bending to the right side, back into forward flexion. Two more times, rotate, bend, piece by piece into extension, rotating to the right side. Really try to feel the entirety of your back. Really feel your whole spine. Really feel all the muscles, all the stuff that is working along this. And back to center. Nice. Now we're gonna do elbows. Almost done. Now, since we just did, when we did the rotation of the shoulders here in quadruped, notice that your shoulder internally rotates and externally rotates. So we're gonna glue our elbows and we're gonna look from the elbow cavity down. And all I want you to do is make sure that those elbow pits are facing the ceiling. I don't want, as soon as these elbows get away from you, you're gonna start to be rotating your shoulder and not your elbow, okay? The ulna is supposed to supinate, which is here, and pronate, or palms down. But the thing you gotta be careful of when you do pronation, so when I come into flexion here and I go pronation, notice I don't have my hand totally facing you guys. So I don't have that full range. So if I do that, I'm starting to be in my shoulder. So I just want you to look and don't think you automatically have your hand facing away from you, okay? So that's just something to be mindful of. All right, big breath in, elbows glued to the side. Supinate, or thumbs down, pinkies up. We're gonna come all the way up into flexion here. Now you're gonna squeeze that elbow stuff as if I was trying to pull your elbows apart. Pronate, but be mindful of those elbow cavities. Down into extension, externally rotate, all the way up into flexion, squeeze. You're thinking you're going through a nice little thick fog here. The air in here just got a little bit denser. It's like a thick molasses of some sort. You're gonna stay palms down. We're gonna come back up, supinate, squeeze as you come down into extension, pronate, really try to feel that elbow stuff, flex, supinate, and down. Now we're gonna go into the wrists. So another thing to make note of here is, oh, we lost somebody. So supination and pronation is elbow, right? So we're gonna take, our wrist has flexion, extension, and it has inversion and eversion. You don't have a whole lot on the swivel, so don't try to force it. You'll notice once your wrist starts to turn over, you're out of range. Nice big breath in, pack that air. Take those pinkies into the midline. We're trying not to let our forearms supinate and pronate, and we're trying not to let them come out or in, okay? So pinkies in, come up into flexion, scoop out at the thumb, down into extension, and here you will probably have some little Rice Krispie treats, some little snap, crackles, and pops. This is definitely normal for the people that are on the desks, that are on their phones often. One more time, around, down, into extension, up, and let's go back that other way. One way is usually a little bit trickier than the other for other people. We'll see. Make a mental note for yourself. which was harder, which wrist do you have better control on. And one last time around, scoop down into extension, rotate in, flexion, and done. All right, now we're gonna move on to hip. So for hip, I am going to have you lay on your side here. So take the yoga block or take a pillow, whatever you have, or if you don't have anything, sorry. You're going to have hips stacked on top of each other, shoulders stacked on top of each other. I am going to irradiate by driving my bottom leg. It's as if I'm trying to push through the ground like that, okay? So with that there, I'm going to create some upper body tension here by squeezing my hands together. If you have a block, you can squeeze the block together, whatever you need. Now, we're gonna make sure these hips stay stacked. We're gonna keep our spine, our head, and our lower back in the same position the whole time. You really wanna be mindful of that. Try not to let anything else come along for the ride besides just right here in your hip, okay? Big breath in, pack that air, create some upper body tension. Now you're gonna take your knee up into your chest as high as you can, all right? Once I get to this flexion area, I am going to open up my knee to that ceiling. You're gonna feel this outside hip stuff, all right? Try not to let your pelvis tilt back. Now in this position, what I want you to do is keep this knee where it's at, and you're gonna try to rotate this ankle without anything else coming along for the ride as you continue to wring this out and control, control, control. As you bring the knee back up, you're gonna reverse it. Down, extend back as far as you can. You should feel those glutes or those back extensors talking. Bring the knee and ankle to the ceiling as high as you can. Start to rotate that ankle underneath and back this way. I'm gonna let Ruthie in. And we're gonna do that one more time. All right, now, again, nice big breath in, pack that air, bring upper body tension, lower legs driving into the ground, knee into the chest as high as you can, squeezing that as I want you to pretend like there's a fruit in your knee here and you're trying to pop that fruit the whole time. If you have a tennis ball, use it. But here, now, keeping your pelvis still and your spine still, you're rotating that ankle to match that knee, controlling it down as it comes to meet this other knee. Boom. And then we're gonna reverse it. You're going to extend back. If I go any further, my low back starts to tie into it. Take your knee and ankle to the ceiling together. Now, start to rotate that ankle underneath that knee as you control the descend of your knee up into your armpit and back down. One last time, up into the armpit as high as you can, really trying to increase the range. Barn door, swivel open, abduct. Now rotate that ankle to match that knee. You should feel all this in the hip stuff like it's wringing out a towel. Also, take a mental note of the way this feels now, because we're also going to check in a moment after we do some actual hip work. This is hip work before the work. All right, let's switch to that other side. All right, straight legged here, upper body tension, big breath in, pack that air, take that left knee into that armpit as high as you can. Don't try to mimic me, just take it to your end range, open up. Now, feel that outside hip stuff as you rotate that ankle to meet that knee. Control the descent of the knee and ankle down as you extend back. Bring it up. Now you're just going to reverse that. Extend back. Squeeze that as you take the knee and ankle to the ceiling together. Start to rotate that ankle underneath that knee as you bring that knee higher up into that armpit. As you control down. All right, back around. Trying to increase this range. Not losing any of the tension that you started with. Really keeping that heel into your butt as if you're trying to squeeze a piece of fruit in the back of your knee cavity there, right? You should almost feel like a slight little hamstring cramp. Chase the cramp. You know you're in the right position if you're feeling a little bit of that. Get that adaptation. One last circle. Woo! Again, make a mental note of this now. See how this feels. We're going to check in just a moment. Or at the end of the class, and see how you feel then. up, rotate, and back. All right, shake that out. Sit up. All right, now what I want you to do is we're gonna do a little knee action here. You're gonna take your right hand, you're gonna go underneath your right knee, grab your left bicep with that. You're gonna hug, squeeze as if you're trying to choke out your knee here. Now, in that, I kind of want you to keep your foot on the ground for a second. Now pull your toes into dorsiflexion. You should feel some shin stuff. Keeping that shin stuff, I want you to rotate externally, and you should kind of like feel that front of your shin light up. Internally for a second, externally, internally. Now, keep it internal. We're going to extend, and if you're super flexible, don't lock out. Internally or externally rotate, back into flexion, internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, flex. Now we're just going to reverse that. Extend and external rotation, internally rotate, flex, externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, and flex. Other side. Not super important today. We're not really working on shins. Take that left arm underneath that left leg. Grab that right bicep. Right hand goes against that back knee, or back of that right knee. Externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, flex, externally rotate, extend, internally rotate, flex, and we're going to reverse that. Extend up, externally rotate, flex, internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, and flex. All right, now go back to that other side. Still want you to get back in that same position. Now we're going to do ankle cars, but what I want you to be mindful of is try to make sure that that bone, your tibia, doesn't rotate. We're going to go 3 clockwise, scoot down into plantar flexion as far as you can, and also notice your corners because they'll be super duper glitchy. You'll want to speed through them, and I want you to smooth those out each time, but making sure it's only coming from the ankle. We're trying to disassociate the ankle from the rest of the body here. All right, once you have 3 on one side, let's go over to that other leg. Left leg, breath in, irradiate, and 3 clockwise. 1 mile an hour, whatever that is to you. Try to keep the same cadence and rhythm the whole time. 1 more. Boom. And once you get 3 one way, well, that was bad. 1 way, go ahead and go back 3 the other way. Again, might hear some snap, crackles, and pops there as well. Now for the last part, I'll have you stand up for a second. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have you do your toes. So I want you to lightly, as light as you can, press the 4 toes on the ground and lift these big toes up to the ceiling as high as you can. All right, feel that out. 3, 2, 1, back down. Plant those 4 toes again. Try to lift those big toes even higher this time. 4, 3, 2, 2, back down. 4 toes planted, big toes up. 3, 2, 3, sweet. Now, we're gonna plant the big toes and you're gonna lift the 4 toes up, and you're gonna try your best not to let your feet collapse, all right? And back down, big toes planted, 4 toes up, try not to let those feet collapse, try to keep those outside pinky toes posted. Bam, big toes planted and 4 toes up. Now, back down, all 5 up, just your big toes down, lift back up, just your big toes down, back up, and just your big toes down. Nice. Now, last thing, all 5 are up. Abduct or take your pinky out as far as you can. Then I want you to piano key the 4th toe, the 3rd toe, 2nd toe, 1st toe. Again, pinky toe up, abduct out farther, 4th toe, 3rd toe, 2nd toe, 1st toe. Last one, pinky toe PR, abduct out, pinky, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st toe. All right, nice. Now, That was cars, that was the warm-up. What we're gonna do is sit in 90-90 now. So what I want you to do is, the checklist for 90-90 is like this. We're gonna start with our right leg forward. So I want you to find the bony hip bone here on your front right hip. That, and then you're gonna line up and create a 90-degree angle with your knee there, all right? Then you're gonna look for another 90-degree from this knee in your rear leg, creating that 90, and then from that 90 is where you create your last 90, all right? So technically it's like 3 90s, but that's how you'll create it. So first portion of today, we're gonna work on some external rotation hip capsule work. So what I mean by that is basically we are right now, your hip in this position. What I need you to do also is I'm gonna set us in a position, but try to relax in these positions, like breathe, all right? So actually, so I can get you to understand what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, what I need you to do is try to lift this leg, or actually lift this ankle, and I want you to try to slowly remove your hand, and if you need to lead to the side, but I want you to feel these rotator muscles here. So if you lift this ankle and you feel how this hip rotates to the ceiling, driving this knee into the ground, that's the stuff I want you to feel in there. Even if you can't physically lift your ankle up off the ground, I want you to drive force to that as if that's what you're trying to do, all right? So now knowing that that's what we're gonna do, that's what we're gonna do for what I call the pails and rails portion. So pails and rails is just going to be where we're expanding range. So right now you're in basically max hip flexion and max external rotation. Some people will be a little bit more uncomfortable than others, right? So what we're going to do is right now, we are going to do what's called bowing the stretch to pull ourselves into our end range, and then we're going to do the work I want us to do there. So some people might think that, hey, I'm in the stretch and I'm just gonna stretch forward here, right? No real, like, notice my back's here and whatnot. I gotta stretch and whatnot, yeah, it feels good. But what we do in this system is we do what's called bowing the stretch. We're just trying to get the maximal effort here. So what I want you to do to find the stretch in this position is I want you to think, you have a tailbone and there's such thing as tucking it underneath and tipping it, right? So I want you to tip that tailbone. First thing I want you to do actually is point your navel to the ceiling, so belly button to the ceiling right now, or your sternum to the ceiling. Then I want you to tip your tailbone, and then now I want you to, from that position there, I want you to lean into that stretch, keeping that tailbone until you find a nice stretch on the underside here. Last thing I'm going to ask you is I want you to pretend like I tied a string to the front of your knee here and to the back of your butt here, and I'm pulling that string back behind you. But I want you to envision that in your mind, which is going to give you a deeper stretch, all right? So with those, that stuff I just told you, the tailbone tipped, the sternum to the ceiling, and the string, now when I ask you to now find your end range and breathe, okay? Here's where I'm going to explain what's gonna happen, but I need you to slow breath in, slower breath out. Now, you don't come out of position. I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen. For the first portion of the pails and rails here, where we're expanding our range, okay? In this case, it's external rotation of your hip, or trying to bring this, so external rotation would look like this, okay? Internal is the other way. So the first portion is, like I said, we're in this stretch here. Pails is going to be, I am going to try to drive this leg through the ground internally. So I'm trying to rotate through the ground. I'm trying to take this ankle and rotate underneath that way. All right, does that make sense? Thumbs up if you get that. Cool. So what, and if you remember what I said about irradiation, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cue you through this. I want you to ramp up in a moment from 20% to 100%. So we are going to think all the tension we have in us when we were doing that handshake analogy. I want you to think, hey, I'm irradiating, I've got my whole body talking to me and I'm squeezing, but I've only got 20% of effort here when I say 20. Then when I say 40, imagine you're squeezing your hand for 40, but in this case we're doing our hip. Cool. Then when I count down from the pails portion and I get to 1, immediately, I don't want you to come out of position. Instead of now externally internally rotating that ankle through the ground, you're now going to do what we did at the beginning, trying to rotate that ankle to you, but I'm a sick person and I glued this to the ground and it can't go anywhere, all right? So you're trying to rotate more as well as pulling yourself deep. It's going to pull you deeper into this stretch. So when I count you down from rails, then what we're going to do when I count down from there, which is 15 seconds, you're going to relax and you're going to be deeper in this stretch, and we're going to breathe, and we're going to do it one more time, all right? So here we go. That was enough explanation. Everyone together. Nice tension, time under tension there as well. Find that end range stretch that you were in. Now, upper body tension for me, I like to put my hands down as kickstand arms and try to drive the earth away from me, okay? This back leg, I'm kind of trying to, as if I'm trying to lift that leg off the ground. It's not gonna happen. Take a nice breath in, pack that air, irradiate, squeeze everything. Now you're in that tilted position and you're trying to rotate that ankle through the ground at 20%. Work your way to 40%, driving that knee into the ground, really trying to put a dent into this ground. Work your way up to 40 from 20, nice and easy. 60%, and here's where I like to check in and make sure the rest of the body is helping. Find 80%. Now give me your safest, your greatest max effort. Hold that. Do not let that go. 15. Really drive all your effort, all right? But let me tell you this right now while you're holding this. If you're squeezing as hard as you can, your body's telling you not to squeeze that hard, let off a little bit. Your body's smarter than you, but hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, your body stays a statue. Rails effort, you're trying to rotate that foot to your face. You're trying to rotate to the ceiling, but it's glued to the ground. Tipping your tailbone deeper, sternum higher, deeper into that stretch. 10, 9, squeeze 8, 7. If I was right here and I tried to separate your chest from your leg, you shouldn't let me do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. See if you can get a little bit deeper into that stretch. And by that I mean tip that tailbone a little bit deeper. Feel that underside capsule stretch there. You should feel it in your hip capsule on the bottom side of your butt. Now, here's where I need you to breathe in. Slow breath in, slower breath out. Relax into it, all right? Because what happened was, a second ago, you guys weren't as deep as you are into the stretch. So now we need to talk to our body and let our body know that we're safe here, all right? So we're creating adaptation through this. This is not something that you're gonna keep forever. The only way you keep this is biology says you have to put these in daily in order to get these inputs, all right? So this time I want you, if you didn't feel that, try to feel it a little bit more, all right? It also kind of sometimes helps if, maybe I thought about it right now, say you, for the first portion, I could irradiate and try to pull this ankle up, which me trying to pull it up is not gonna let me do that. It's gonna drive all that internal rotation force into the ground, okay? So it's just gonna give you more effort, because the more force you can drive to this area, the better it's gonna be for you. All right, nice big breath in, pack that air, irradiate, squeeze everything, kickstand arms, drive through the ground. Start to actively internally rotate that leg through the ground to the other side at 20%. Nice and easy right now, slowly working your way up to 40%. Find 60. Make sure the rest of the body matches that. Give me 80, guys. Nice and easy here. Now, safest, greatest, max effort. Don't be afraid to shake. Don't be afraid to breathe hard. Give me all you've got. This is hard work. This is not easy. For 8, 7, max effort. 5, don't lose it. 4, 3, 2, 1, rails effort. Now you're trying to externally rotate that leg to the ceiling, but it's glued to the ground. Tip your tailbone deeper into that stretch. Sternum goes higher to that ceiling. Hold that. 8, 7, don't lose it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. See if you can sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Give me a couple recovery breaths, and then we'll come out of this position and we're gonna work on the next thing. It really helps if I could hear you guys, but internet's still kind of weird, but it looks like if you guys are feeling what I'm feeling, oh boy. All right, so the next thing I'm going to have us do, all right, so we're still gonna stay in this position. So what I want you to figure out is, right now, if I tried to lift this leg off the ground, it's not really gonna happen in this position. But if I were to lean, maybe even like lean to the side a little bit, but not to where I'm just letting this shoulder hang into my ear, right? I'm still gonna have a nice strong body posture, and then maybe I can lift this up. Yeah, but it's working really hard. I'd probably move down a little bit more myself to my knee here, because I'm still working hard enough. But so what I want you to do is find a position where you're nice and solid, even if you go way out here, but I want you to be able to lift this ankle, rotate it to the ceiling as if I'm just trying to slide a nice credit card underneath you there, all right? So I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be hard work here, okay? So whatever position that is for you, if this over here, you can go ahead and lift your leg all the way up here, yeah, I'm gonna want you to be like right here to where you can lift it up a little bit higher, you know what I mean, lower. So find what position works for you. That's the beauty of this class, is not everyone's gonna be in the same position, and don't necessarily have to mimic my position, because you might have more range or less, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do lift-offs. So if you need to also, I like to put my hand into my knee here so it drives into the ground and it kind of helps me rotate that ankle to the ceiling. We're gonna take a nice breath in, we're gonna squeeze everything, and we're gonna lift this ankle to the ceiling with the midfoot. And slowly parachute back down. And lift up, slowly parachute back down, that's 2. And lift, slowly parachute down, that's 3. And lift, slowly parachute down, that's 4. And lift, slowly parachute down, that's 5. And lift, slowly parachute down, 6, halfway. And lift, slowly parachute down, 7. And lift, slowly parachute down, 8. And lift, slowly parachute down, 9. And lift, slowly parachute, 10. 2 more. And lift, slowly parachute, 11. And lift, slowly parachute, 12. Relax, shake it out. We're not done with that yet. Now, stay in that position. What I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna grab this heel and you're gonna try to lift with that knee staying on the ground as high as that rotates up. So maybe it rotates here, maybe it doesn't move anywhere, maybe it's barely coming off the ground. Whatever it is, I want you to lift it to your end range. You're gonna take a nice breath in, you're gonna squeeze everything, and you're gonna try to slowly remove your hand and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Catch that ankle, pull that up to that end range again. You probably lost some distance there. Squeeze and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Whew, this is whoo, yeah, y'all having fun yet? Big breath in, squeeze and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Whew, now here's where we're strength training this external rotator. 2 more. And hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Last one this set. Squeeze, you radiate, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. Shake it out. Whew. One more set of each of those, and then we're gonna work on this back leg, all right? Y'all ready? All right, find that position that you needed for liftoffs here. Give yourself that break, and let's get it. Nice breath in, handle the knee if you need it, and lift off. That's 1. Slowly lower, and if you are, try not to lift with the heel or just the big toe. I'm thinking middle of the foot there from the arch, and lift off 2. Slowly lower. And lift off 3. Try not to let the torso move. Try not to let anything move, just this hip. And lift off 4. Slowly parachute down. Lift off 5. Slowly parachute down. Halfway. Back down. 7. Back down. 8. Back down. 9. Woo, let's go. 10. 2 more. 11. 1 more, and 12. Slowly lower. Last 3 reps on this first one, 10-second holds. We're not gonna stop, we're not gonna break. Grab that ankle, lift, squeeze, hold, remove that hand slowly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Even if it's touching the ground, keep trying to hold it. 2, 1. Grab that ankle. Still trying to rotate it to the ceiling, even if it doesn't come off the ground. Breath in, squeeze, and hold 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, best one. Squeeze, breathe, and hold 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. Shake that out for a second. Oh man, I know y'all feel it. I feel it. Oh, all right. You know what? We're gonna actually, we're gonna work on this back leg first before we go on to the other side. All right, now, we're still staying in this 90-90 here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shift our focus to the back leg. We just did external rotation on the front side here. Now we're gonna work on the rear leg. What I want you to do, rotate as far as you can towards that left leg, that rear leg. Now, I can't go any further. What I want you to do is kind of drop your hands behind you, and I want not to have this hip up. I want you to think, rotate that underneath if you can, all right? With that rotating underneath, you're also thinking rotating the ankle through the ground this way. Now you should feel another stretch on the underside of this stuff here, okay? Now, if you don't feel that, I also like to take my hands and I like to rotate a little bit more towards this back leg. Find your very end range, what's best for you, okay? So, the pails here, and you don't have to mimic my position too. You could be here, you could be way less. It doesn't really matter as long as you feel the best stretch for you in this position. I'm trying to cue you to find that. So the pails here, which is the expansion of the internal rotation that we're looking for, we're gonna think is, we're gonna try to, again, rotate this ankle through the ground. So we're trying to rotate it through the ground that way, okay? Then rails is going to be the opposite. We're going to try to rotate this ankle to the ceiling, but we're stuck here. If anything, you'd wanna, it's glued to the ground. I'm almost trying to rotate this torso more towards this back leg and this back leg up, okay? You're trying to close in this gap, all right? If you've never felt internal rotation stuff before, it's funky. It feels a little weird, all right? Also, if I cue you to 100% of tension and your body tells you otherwise, you can feel free to use less tension, all right? So usually if you've first done this, I would probably say stay around 60% of tension and then work your way to 100 when you feel more comfortable and strong, because this is usually new for people. All right, now we've been here for enough time. We're gonna go ahead and take a nice big breath in. Does that make sense for everybody? Give me a thumbs up, you guys got it? Cool, all right, nice breath in, pack that air, and also, no, I'm not gonna change it. All right, now, start to internally rotate that ankle through the ground at 20%. The tension over here, I'm trying to drive this knee to the ground, that knee to the ground to keep irradiation, and I'm trying to rotate myself back towards this back leg. Work your way to 40%. Whew, feel that? Yeah, start to create a nice little dent in the mat. 60. Nice, that feels good. 80. Now give me your safest, greatest, max effort. Everything you got here with what your body tells you you can do. Really try to put a big old dent into that ground. Pretend like I'm underneath that ankle right there and I'm trying to lift that ankle to the ceiling. You're telling me, no, I can't do that. Give me 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort. Lift that ankle to the ceiling. Rotate deeper into that stretch, but don't let that ankle leave the ground. Rotate harder. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. See if you can rotate a little bit deeper into that stretch. Here's where I need you to slow breath in, slower breath out. And usually kind of looks for 4 seconds of inhalation. Let your diaphragm fill, ribs fill, and then 8 seconds of nice, slow, deep exhalation. Whew. All right. Yeah, this one feels a lot different in regards to external rotation, so that's why I said be careful. It's a different sensation than the one we just did, way different. All right, couple more recovery breaths, and we're gonna do it one more time. A couple of things to make note of now, to remind you, is now that we are deeper in the stretch, we did pass your stretch reflex. When you do go to create your tension, you're not gonna be as strong, so just make note of that, and that's okay. We are in our very end range, which is the weakest parts of everybody's body across the globe. All right, big breath in. So everyone's weak here. Don't be afraid to shake. Don't be afraid to breathe hard. It doesn't really matter. This is for you. This is your end range. Nice breath in. Irradiate. Upper body tension. Start to internally rotate this ankle through the ground. 20%. Working my way to 40%. Find 60. And the beautiful thing about isometrics, it doesn't look like we're doing a whole lot, but there's a whole lot going on. 80. So if anybody was outside looking in, they had no idea what's going on. Safest, greatest, max effort, literally know that we're doing this. Holy cow. Hold that and squeeze. Don't lose it. Give me everything you got on this last one here. 10, 9, 8. Pretend I'm underneath that ankle. Don't let me lift it. 4. Squeeze 3, 2, 1. Rails, effort, ankle to the ceiling. Rotate deeper into that stretch. Internally rotate more. Oh, externally rotate that ankle to the ceiling. It's glued. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. See if you can sink deeper into the stretch. Give me a couple recovery breaths. And we're going to slowly pull ourselves out, but we're not done working here. We are going to do a little bit of work in this position, and then we're going to switch over to the other side and do both legs on the other side. I know. I named this Kinstretch. It's all in the hips, so sorry, guys. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to face back forward. Actually, yeah, shake that out for a second and let that unwind. Oh, man. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Yeah, you sometimes feel that like way up in the deep meat, like the deep crazy stuff. All right. Now, for this portion in the back leg, what we're gonna do is you're gonna find a position. Whether it's like, if you need to move to the side a little bit to be able to accomplish this, you need to lean forward a little bit, whatever it is, if you're cool and you can lift your, I used my front knee and it lifted off the ground, so I even would need to lean forward a tad bit. So we're gonna find whatever position we're able to accomplish to try to lift this ankle from the midfoot to the ceiling, but high enough to where it's barely coming off the ground. So I would probably find my torso around here, which makes it really hard, and it talks like crazy in this position. So whatever you need to lift, see if I'm this far forward, I'm doing myself a disservice if I lift this high, right? I'm not really working that hard. So I'm trying to find, as I rotate my torso back now, that's the difficulty I want to work at. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, nice big breath in, irradiate, and lift off. 1, slowly lower, and lift off. 2, slowly lower, and lift off. 3, slowly lower, and lift off. 4, slowly lower, lift off. 5, slowly lower, and halfway, slowly lower, lift off. 7, slowly lower, lift off. 8, slowly lower, lift off. 9, lift off. 10, 2 more, lift off. 11, and the last one, lift off. 12. All right, so we're going to kind of do something similar than what we did a second ago on the front leg. I want you to try to scoop underneath this ankle if you can, and we're going to try to lift this as high as you can. You might not be as high as me, don't expect to be that high, but what I don't want is I don't want that to roll forward. I want to make sure this is still tucked underneath as you lift this, all right? So we're gonna, from this position here, you want to, same thing, find your end range, squeeze, slowly remove your hand and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, catch it, raise to your very end range again, irradiate, squeeze, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3 more, catch it, squeeze, and slowly remove. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, relax the leg, catch it, go to your end range, irradiate, squeeze, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. One more set of both, we're almost done, all right? Just gonna get right into it, find that position for the lift-offs again. We're putting in work today, I know. All right, big breath in, irradiate, and lift off. Slowly lower, and lift off. 2, slowly lower, and lift off. 3, slowly lower. And if you feel inclined, lift off. 4, slowly lower. Feel free to record yourself doing this. 5, and post it on Instagram. Slowly lower, help me out, and lift off. 6, slowly lower, or whatever social media platform. 7, slowly lower, lift off. 8, slowly lower, lift off. 9, slowly lower. As you can see, this is not easy work. 10, slowly lower, and plenty of people could use this. 11, slowly lower, and last one, 12, slowly lower. Go ahead and grab that ankle. Last 3 reps of this. Irradiate, 3 reps, 10 seconds. Squeeze, slowly remove your hand, hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Catch that ankle with the hand, relax, irradiate, squeeze, slowly remove the hand. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Last one, best one. Relax, grab the ankle, irradiate, squeeze, slowly remove that hand. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, slowly lower. All right, now we're gonna transition to the other side. It's an isometric movement pattern. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna drive this front knee, keep this into the ground. We are gonna take on the ball of our foot on this back leg, and you're going to windshield wipe open. So I want you to think scooping the ankle underneath, but I'm trying to keep this knee down on the ground. I'm getting to my very end range. Now, I've got this nice stretch here and here. What I'm gonna start to do now that I'm at my end range is I'm gonna start to lead with my rear leg knee, but I'm still playing keep away. Right now I'm trying to play keep away with these knees the whole time as I lead with this knee down into the other 90 position now, and I'm slowly pretending like my hand's here and creating the tension back into 90 on the other side. So now you'll notice you're in 90-90 with your left leg front facing forward. And here we are again. I'll remind you what the pale stretch is here. Here is where we're gonna take this leg. Let's go ahead and try to lift it and hold so you can feel that external rotation stuff there, right? Feel that leg stuff. Now, let's find our pails and rails position. Reminder to make sure that you're in the right 90-90. Find that bony ASIS joint on the left side this time. Bony hip joint. Make a 90-degree angle there. I create another 90-degree angle with my front knee and my groin to my back knee. And from that position, and there's another 90 there. Now here, to find our end range for external rotation, for our pails and rails, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sternum to the ceiling or your belly button to the ceiling, tip your tailbone forward, and now I want you to think there's a string on the front of your knee and on the back of your glute, and I want you to pull yourself into your end range until you have a nice stretch, what feels like on the underside of the leg here, underside glute hip stuff. You'll feel that, all right? And then once you find that nice end range stretch for you there, here's where we're just gonna breathe. A reminder here that slow breath in, slow breath out. The pails is going to be that you are going to be trying to crush this mat and rotate through it to the other side here. And our rails is going to be the opposite, that thing that we just did to lift our leg up. We're gonna try to rotate this leg higher to the ceiling, but there's a stick of glue or Velcro here and it can't move anywhere, as well as we're also pulling our sternum higher to the ceiling, tipping our tailbone deeper and pretending that string is being pulled further and further away from us. It's gonna pull you deeper into that stretch. All right, everyone ready? Take a nice breath in, pack that air, irradiate. Start to actively internally rotate that ankle through the ground 20%. Work your way to 40. Find 60. Give me 80. Safest, greatest, max effort. Squeeze that and hold. You've got the max effort you've got right now. Really trying to make a big dent in the ground with that ankle. Driving it through. Give me 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're a statue. Rails effort, trying to rotate that ankle to the ceiling. Tip your tailbone deeper, sternum higher to the ceiling. Pull yourself deeper in that stretch. Don't lose it. 8, 7. Pretend like I'm right there with your torso and your thigh, and I'm trying to pull you apart. Don't let me do that. 5, 4, 3. Pull yourself deeper in that stretch. 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. Try to see if you can sink a little bit deeper in that stretch. Slow breath in, slower breath out. Again, a couple recovery breaths here. We are going to be deeper in this stretch right now. So again, don't expect yourself to be as strong. We're going to do that one more time. All right, 2 more recovery breaths. And each time, if you find yourself, like right now, if you're in a stretch and you're squeezing the whole time, I want you to back out of that stretch just a little bit, because you should be able to relax a little bit into the stretch. You shouldn't be creating the tension before we actually ramp up and start to create the tension through the pails and rails, and when I say irradiate and all that stuff. All right, here we go. Round 2. Nice breath of air in. Pack that air in your stomach. Start to irradiate the rest of the body and actively internally rotate that ankle through the ground, trying to drive it through, make a big dent in the ground onto the other side there. 20%. Not a whole lot of effort yet. Slowly working your way up to 40. Find 60. Give me 80. And now, your greatest, safest, max effort. Make the biggest dent in the ground you can. The last little bit you got here. 10 seconds. 9 seconds. Don't lose it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort. Really try to pull that leg, pull that ankle to your face, pull your chest, turn them higher, higher to the ceiling, tip that tailbone deeper, pull yourself deeper in the stretch. If I was trying to pry you apart, don't let me do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. Start to release that tension. A couple recovery breaths. And then we'll pull ourselves out of that end range stretch. So that way we can go ahead and do these liftoffs again. All right, so we're gonna find that position to our side here. Still gonna keep that shoulder away from our ear. Still gonna keep our trunk nice and solid. And we're going to go for trying to lift our ankle to the ceiling. All right, find that position for you. Big breath in, irradiate, and lift off. That's 1. Slowly lower. And lift off 2. Slowly lower. And lift off 3. Really try to keep that knee on the ground 2 if you can. Lift off 4. Good. Trying to think driving the knee to the ground so you can rotate the ankle to the ceiling. 5. Good. And lift off halfway. 6. Woo. Lift off 7. My left leg is much weaker than my right. Deficits. 8. Figure out what yours is. Lift off 9. Woo. Lift off 10. 2 more. Lift off 11. Woo. 1 more. And lift off 10. Yowza. Grab that ankle. No time to waste. Find that end range. Slowly remove the hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Catch it. Relax. Irradiate. And slowly remove. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Woo-hoo-hoo. 3 more. Irradiate. Squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. 2 more. 2 more. Almost there, guys. Come on. Irradiate. Squeeze. Remove. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Last one this set. Squeeze. Irradiate. Slowly remove that hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. Holy cow. Shake that out for a second. Last set of liftoffs. Last set of holds. Working on that back leg and then breath work. All right. Thank you so much. Let's get it. All right, big breath in, irradiate, and lift off. Ooh, I can lift a little higher this time. And lift off. 2, slowly lower. And lift off. 3. Imagine there's a nice parachute and you're lightly lowering it. Lift off. 4. Good. Lift off. 5. I'm cool with you lifting off as fast as possible as long as you don't use any momentum from the rest of the body. 6. And I want you to just slowly lower. 7. 8, lift off 9, lift off, 10, 2 more, lift off, 11, 1 more, and lift off, 12. Last 3, let's get it. I know it burns, it hurts me too. All right, irradiate, squeeze, so remove that hand, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, you got this, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one said this was easy. All right, catch it, slowly remove that hand, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Last one, best one, you got this. Catch that ankle, bring it as high as you can, slowly remove the hand. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, whoo. Slowly put that down. Let's come back up. Now, we're gonna shake that out for 1 second. We start to work on this back leg. Find that end range stretch. We're almost done, almost there. Okay, reminder, still have this front 90. Let's rotate towards that back leg. In this case, it's my right leg. Now I'm gonna drop my hands back behind me. I wanna try to sit my sit bone down to the ground here. And I'm gonna try to rotate more into that leg. Find that end range stretch, wherever that is for you. All right, for sure. Hope you had a good time, man. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's different. All right, so find that end range. Here's the real squad. Yeah, we're about these gains. All right, so couple more recovery breaths here. Slow breath in, slower breath out. Now, to remind you what the PAILS is we are trying to rotate this ankle through the ground, okay? Trying to bring it to the front of you here. So we're rotating through the ground. And our rails effort is going to be trying to rotate to the ceiling, but it can't glue to the ground. And we're gonna try to rotate deeper into that stretch, all right? Everyone with me? Take a nice big breath in. Pack that air in your stomach. Irradiate and actively start to internally or externally rotate that ankle through the ground at 20%. Woo, find that 20, that feels good. Work your way to 40. Yeah. All right, find 60 and make sure the rest of that torso matches. Good. Find 80. Now give me your safest, greatest max effort. Squeeze and hold, don't lose that. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort, really drive that ankle to the ceiling. Feel that outside hip stuff as you pull yourself deeper in that stretch. Squeeze and hold. 8, 7, don't lose it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly ramp down. Try to see if you can sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. Wowza. Look at Giancarlo. He's out here in pain. Fetal position. We win. All right. Now here's where we're going. Slow breath in, slower breath out. Trying not to have any tension. Really calming the body down in this position. We're going to do it one more time. PAILS, rails, and then we'll do some lift offs and some holds. Again, we are weaker in this position. So just a mental note, be mindful. All right, nice big breath in. Pack that air in the stomach, irradiate, squeeze the rest of the body, start to externally rotate that ankle through the ground at 20%. Whew. Let's start to work our way to 40. Yeah, and if you smile, it really helps, I promise. We work our way to 60. We find 80. Give me your safest, greatest max effort and squeeze. Yeah, like right now, especially like PAILS and rails, like I hear you get 50% more like of your force if you smile the whole time. Yeah, it really works. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails effort, drive that ankle up to the ceiling, pull yourself deeper in that stretch. Don't lose it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holy cow. Slowly calm down, sink deeper in that stretch, couple recovery breaths. And let's pull ourselves out of it, finish the rest of class. We're almost there. Oh man. All right. Now, let's find that torso position here where we can do these lift-offs. All right, so find your ankle. Make sure that once you do find it, nothing moves, but just this ankle reaching to the ceiling. All right, nice big breath in. Irradiate. I like to kickstand arms, hands down and through the ground, and lift off. 12, and lift off. 11, and lift off. 10, slowly parachute back down, lift off. 9, slowly parachute back down. 8, parachute back down. 7, y'all look good, back down. 6, back down. 5, back down. John Carlos. 4, back down. 3, back down. 2, back down. Last one, and back down. All right, let's grab that ankle. Try to lift it to that end range without anything else coming along for the ride. Irradiate. Slowly remove that hand at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Catch it. Relax. Bring it to the end range. Squeeze. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Catch it. Come back to that end range. Squeeze. Slowly remove that hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Two more. Almost there. Catch it. Relax, slowly, bring it to the end range. Squeeze, slowly remove the hand and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Last one, best one of this set. Catch it, end range, irradiate, squeeze, slowly remove hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. Almost done. Last 12 liftoffs. Let's get it. All right, big breath in, find that position, and lift off. 1, slowly lower. Lift off 2, slowly lower. Lift off 3, slowly lower. Lift off 4, slowly lower. Lift off 5, slowly lower. Lift off 6, slowly lower. Lift off 7.